What you guys, Microsoft is collecting your data. Here's how to block it. According to a lot of people on the internet, they want to talk about Windows Firewall and how to block Microsoft from collecting your data on your computer. So let's go to Windows Security right here. This is the new way of getting to Windows Firewall. This is the modern way of getting to your firewall settings. Inside this panel, you'll have access to firewall and network protection. And this will give you access to your domain network, private network, and public network, and allow an app through your firewall, and also advanced settings for your firewall, which we'll cover in this video as well. Also, you can get to the firewall settings the old-fashioned way by typing Windows Firewall. And this will open up the Windows Defender Firewall and Advanced Security Settings, which is this panel right here. So depending on which way you want to search for it, whether you want to type Windows Security or whether you want to type just Firewall, it will all take you to similar places. Basically, this is the old school way of looking at it, which is what Microsoft is phasing out. So let's go the new way, which is Windows Security. I'm bringing this to your attention because people like to nitpick in the comments section. So I'm just showing you there's multiple ways of getting to the same location and doing the same thing. So here you can see we've got access to our firewall and network protection, and we also got app and browser control. So let's take a look at firewall and network protection. This is your domain. Your private network is your local network, and your public network, which is outside of your network. All of these are switched on. So from here, you can actually customize your allow app through your firewall settings inside here. So to click on this and it will open up this panel. You might not have seen this panel before because most people don't even know it exists, but you can configure and change these settings right here and turn off a lot of these. Disabling firewall rules can expose your system to serious risks, including unauthorized access, malware infections, and data breaches. Firewalls can act as a crucial barrier between your network and potential threats. So turning off and weakening those protections can make it much easier for attackers to exploit vulnerabilities. It's important to only adjust firewall settings with a clear understanding of what consequences and to keep protections active whenever possible. So you can see we do have a bunch of settings in here adjusted for private and public network. Like I said, your private network is your local network and your public network is outside of your public network. Things like delivery optimization. This is inside your settings panel, inside your Windows updates panel. It's not in here. Let's go down and inside here and look inside the actual advanced options and you will see delivery optimization. And this is it right here. So normally I turn this feature off myself like so, but you'll see delivery optimization is right here and it wants to use your private and your public network connection. You can block this by unchecking it. Dialog track, you can search some of this stuff. I wouldn't turn some of this stuff off because you're going to cause yourself a lot of problems. So what is unchecking this doing? Well, it's basically stopping a connection inbound and outbound of your computer while using Feedback Hub, Game Bar, or any of the other features that you're unchecking. You can see there's check marks in private and public. That is inbound and outbound, publicly and privately. And if you uncheck it, it means you're not authorizing it to be able to outbound or inbound publicly or privately on your computer. And this goes for any of these like Clipchamp, Microsoft 365 Copilot, and also Microsoft Content, Microsoft Edge you got here, Microsoft Family, Safety. If you're using these features, they are not going to be able to send incoming and outgoing connections while using that application. And you might need that to actually use it correctly. Microsoft Teams is here. Now I see quite a lot of comments about how they've unchecked all of this stuff in their firewall to stop internet access going in and out of their computer publicly and privately. And this is a big problem if you're unchecking some of the things that Microsoft might need to be activated on your system to be able to send you information and updates and things like that. If you're blocking it It's not going to allow any of that action to happen. Now, things like Windows Calculator and Windows Camera, it goes without saying, if you've got a Windows camera and you're putting that on, it's not going to be able to connect out. So if you're using programs that you use your camera on, so for instance, maybe you're using, say, OBS, or you're using Teams, or any other type of application that wants to access your camera because you want to go on the camera while you're talking, it's not going to be able to connect out because you've just unchecked it like so. And it's unchecked it for public and private, which means it's not going to go inbound or outbound of your computer. So this is a big problem for people that are not familiar with what this stuff does. And unchecking it is what a lot of these scripts will be doing. They will just uncheck a bunch of stuff. And this is when people start running into issues, because obviously it's blocking firewall settings. I've seen scripts that will block a lot of communications and firewall settings for telemetry and other things as well that are Microsoft related. So be very, very careful on what you're unchecking on your device. So sometimes tinkering inside these places can cause more problems than it's worth. So you can see right here, I've just unchecked Xbox, Xbox Game UI, Xbox Identity Provider, Xbox TC UI, and stuff like that. So just bear that in mind. I would do some research on some of the stuff you're unchecking. But I'm just showing you how you can do it if you want to do it. I wouldn't advise you to do all of those. These are down to you. Now, if you go into private network right here, you'll see a incoming connections section. This is for networks at home or work where you know and trust the people and devices on the network and where your device is set to discoverable. Blocking incoming connections can improve security, but also it comes with risks. So being super aggressive in here by checkmarking block all incoming connections, including those in the list of allowed apps. These are apps that need to connect in. These could be apps that are needed to upgrade or update that program, or maybe just to use the actual program properly or application properly. It needs that internet connection. And if you've blocked it, it's not going to work. Now, firewall is on for domain network. You also see right here networks at the workplace that are joined to the domain. So this really doesn't really matter as much. You can see there's also block all incoming connections here, but you do have private and also public network. Let me just quickly show you here, because I want to show you that the calculator still opens, even though we've blocked the internet connection there for it to go in and out of the computer. It's going to work because it's an application that's on the actual PC, but it's not actually connecting out. System is now reset back to default. So what I want to show you is what a lot of people keep asking, is whether you can block all of this 100%. Now, I understand that a lot of people are quite paranoid about this sort of stuff, but if you're that paranoid, then stop using a Windows operating system, because you're never going to be able to block all of the telemetry and data harvesting that Microsoft do, because some of it is deeply embedded into the operating system itself. So just blocking some of this inbound and outbound traffic, you can see right here, we've got Microsoft Teams here as a firewall setting that wants to go sort of inbound and outbound of this computer. Now, you may be thinking, let's go into applications and go to installed apps and go down to Microsoft Teams. You can see it's installed by default. We'll go ahead and we'll uninstall this. And what we'll do is we'll uninstall it and we'll reboot the system. And when we reboot the system, we'll see whether it's still there. And you'll see that it is still there right now. So let's quickly restart the system for inbound and outbound rules for Microsoft Teams. And you'll be surprised that it probably will still be there. And the reason why is because it's only removing the top layer visible app part of the application. The real main core components of Microsoft Teams is probably still on the system. And this is for simple installation and uninstallation of the application. It's not going to rip out all of the core key components. It's like Edge. When you disable Edge or uninstall Edge in the EU, it still leaves a lot of components for Microsoft Edge on the system. Now we've restarted it. Let's go back to the actual firewall and network protection and go back to advanced settings. And I'll be shocked if Microsoft Teams is not still there. So let's go back into advanced settings here, and we'll go back into this setting right here and look at inbound and outbound rules. So these are them right here. Now remember, we've uninstalled the application, and there we go. It's still connecting inbound from Microsoft, and it's also going to connect outbound from Microsoft. So if you really want to take care of this, then you would have to start disabling. Now, you don't want to right click and disable the rule like this, because it's just going to disable it inside the screen here. You'll see it's in a location right here. And also you'll see that the profile is all. It's not enabled, but the action is allow and override. What you want to do is go into this area right here, and you want to block all of the connection right here as well. So if you block all these connections right here, click apply. Because we've disabled the rule, I need to enable the rule here. So let me just quickly right click on this and go to properties, block all the connection, click apply and OK. Now the one that's invisible there, that's because we disabled the rule. So you don't want to disable the rule, you want to enable the rule, and you'll see because we blocked it, it's already blocked. So use this method if you want to block the connection inbound and outbound of your computer. So I'm just going to show you a few here on how to block these connections. But remember, like I said, you're going to have to go through here with a fine-tooth comb, and it's going to take quite a while, and there'll be still some core key components on Windows that you can't disable. Feedback hub, you can see that is still connected right here. So you'd have to go inside here and literally go to properties and then block all the connection like so. And you should see a red circle with a line through it. That means it can't go in or out of your system. It's been blocked, and you can now see the action is blocked. And that's what you really want to do if you want to block the actual connection. And I made a video about this the other day, but I wanted to make it more clear and clarified so you can see what you have to physically do. Now, obviously, the best way to do this is create a rule for it. Rather than just unchecking them, you really want to sort of go in here and right click, go properties, and basically block the connection for inbound and outbound, which is going to take you a fair bit of time, and then export all of your settings. That way you can import these into your actual computer. Now, there is scripts out there that will do this for you, and there's also batch files that will do all of this blocking routine as well for Microsoft IPs and things like that. It's getting a bit extreme, if you ask me, because at the end of the day, you're just going to cause yourself a lot of problems in the future. And this is the big problem with tweaking Windows, debloating Windows. This can cause a lot of issues as well. So bear that in mind when you're getting into all this tweaking malarkey on your computer, because at the end of the day, what you're doing here is physically blocking inbound and outbound connections. And this is just one small part of the puzzle that you have to do if you're on Windows 11. A lot of people do want to do a lot of this stuff, and they will find ways to do it with either batch files, PowerShell scripts, or applications, or they'll go in manually and do it themselves. So what I've gone ahead and done is reset the virtual machine back to default settings. So we're back to exactly how it would be when you install Windows. And this is what we've got right here. So I've already got it all reset back. Let me just quickly show you here. I've turned off all of these settings, all of the allow apps through the firewall, and all your advanced settings. These are all reset back to default. I'll just quickly show you so you can see. There we go. All of these have been put back to default settings. Now, questions I see quite a lot is, do scripts or tools like Chris Titus Text, WinUtil, or WinHance, or any of these types of tools, do they actually stop telemetry and stop Microsoft spying and things like that? The short answer to that is no, it won't. And the reason why is because this is Microsoft's operating system. There's going to be stuff buried deep in their code that even these apps can't get to. These are just dealing with the surface stuff that you can see. But there's going to be lots of stuff buried deep down in the operating system. Now, what these can do is alleviate a lot of the privacy and data harvesting settings that we can see, like services and things like that, and settings in the privacy and security panel and many other places. And it also removes the widgets and also debloats the actual operating system, removes and uninstalls a lot of the applications, and also turns off a lot of things like Microsoft Copilot if you want to. These are under the advanced tweaks, caution tweaks, because these can break the system as well. So bear that in mind when you're making changes to the operating system. This can obviously break the system as well. So that's why these tools come with no support. They're used at your own risk, basically, and that's what you need to understand. So I've seen so many people using things like this on their system and then ending up on my Discord server asking for help to fix their PC. And that's because they've gone too crazy. They're using multiple different debloaters. They'll use Chris's tool, they'll use WinHance, they'll use scripts off the internet. There's only so much debloating you can do because obviously they all cover the same sort of thing, really. And they're all forks off of the same sort of program, really, or script. So let's go ahead and I'll get these set and I'll run this and I'll run O&O shut up 10 on here as well. And then we'll go back in the firewall settings and I'll quickly show you. It'll probably alleviate a lot of that and remove a lot of that stuff as well. So you can reduce a lot of it, but you're never ever going to stop telemetry inside Windows 11. If you're really concerned that much about Microsoft's privacy and telemetry, then stop using their operating system and use something else. It's that simple. It's their software and it's their rules that we're playing by. Also, it's not open source, it's closed source. So you can't even see the code inside. So how are you supposed to deal with a lot of these telemetry issues? You're not going to. All this is doing is blocking a lot of the application's telemetry. And it uses policies and things like that, like registry edits or even policies inside group policy, or it'll have its own little container with all of the policies set in there, which is what it's doing. And that's how it can quickly enable these policies and reverse these policies as well. So if we go back into our app section right here, we have just run the application here. You can see there's a little bit still left on here. I'm not going to go too crazy on the system. We'll go back into the firewall settings and you'll probably see there's going to still be some, firewall settings in there that are related to Microsoft. You're not going to be able to stop it. And Windows Firewall is not that advanced. It's not that great for doing this sort of stuff. If you're that worried, then use another operating system. That's what I'll say. But let's go back into firewall and network protection right here. And we'll go into here. We can see these settings are still turned off as they should be. And looking inside here, let me just have a quick look here. And I can already see we do have Microsoft To-Dos inside here. And we also have Zoom Music, Microsoft Zoom Music, Microsoft Windows Feedback Hub is still there. Cloud Identity, Click to Do. And a lot of that sort of stuff is still, Dial Track is still turned on. And there is still stuff inside here that is still enabled on the firewall, which is going to allow it to go in and out of the computer. Now, some of these might be adjusted by running there on that script. Let's go to advanced settings right here. And some of these should be removed now because obviously you run that script and also O&O shut up 10. So let's take a look here. But I can already see there's quite a few bits still inside here. And you'll never ever stop all of this stuff. And all this does is end up running the risk of breaking or bricking the OS and causing you loads of problems. And this is why so many people have issues with Windows 11, because they just go too far with their tweaking and too far with all of this. So yes, you can block a lot of this stuff by doing the things that I showed you, but it can also have a major side effect on the operating system's stability. And that's why I keep saying to people, these debloat scripts and applications that you can see out there on the internet, they do what they need to do. They remove the bloat and make it look cleaner and a little bit more low system resources, but it will never ever stop telemetry 100%. It's just not going to be able to do that. And you can see we still have a lot of stuff going in and out of the computer here. And this is the stuff you can see. And there's going to be core components and features that are embedded deeply in the operating system that you're just not going to be able to stop or turn off. And it's always going to be calling home and you're not going to be able to stop it. And I've seen a lot of this stuff in the comments section of my videos where people will make stupid claims about privacy. And of course, they have no privacy. They're probably walking around with a mobile phone in their pocket, you know, doing a GPS tracking and knowing exactly where they are. The microphone is constantly on, and things like, you know, Alexa type of devices or Google devices that are always on and listening. You just going outside your house with, you know, cameras in your face everywhere. I've even seen YouTube channels now with people wearing masks and glasses on, pretending they're hiding their identity while they're on YouTube making videos. It's ridiculous. There's a guy with a wizard hat on and a fake beard. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, honestly, you can't make this stuff up. And it's these sort of people that are spreading the fear of what's going on, like, you know, facial ID on Discord, you know, and yet you'll walk into your local bar or restaurant or into the train station or outside your house. You'll be on camera everywhere. You just can't hide from it. What are you going to do? Walk around with a ski mask on and a pair of glasses on everywhere you go? It's just stupid. Anyway, I mean, that's going to be about it. I'm starting to rant. Anyway, my name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members. I appreciate the support, and I shall catch you in the very next video, or I'll see you on the Discord server. The link is in the video description. Bye for now.